Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a video on my teaching portfolio. Now, I just recently updated my teaching portfolio, and when I was doing that, I really looked to YouTube and Google and just all these different resources to update my portfolio and see, what should I keep in it and what should I take out of it that's not really as important. So when I made my teaching portfolio, it was about 2 years ago when I graduated college, May of 2016. And when you graduate with an education major, you have to make a teaching portfolio as part of like a final project type of thing. So there was a lot of extra things in there that I just did not need. It was mainly just like for my class that they required in the portfolio. But when you go to an interview and you bring your teaching portfolio with you, you don't necessarily need some of the things that they required for class. So I was able to take out a lot of those extra things. Also, I've been subbing now for 2 years. I've had 2 long-term substitute positions. So lesson plan wise, I wanted to update them because I had a lot of lesson plans that were from when I was student teaching, and not that they weren't good, they definitely were, and I kept some of them, but I wanted to just update it to things that I recently created. So I was able to update that with my lesson plans, and I just changed a lot actually, and I feel so much better that I'm able to bring it on a interview now and really know what's inside my teaching portfolio inside and out. I updated like the way that I decorated it, the labels that I use I actually created myself, and I did put onto my TPT store, which is linked below for you. Still working on that, definitely trying to figure out how to make it editable for you. I don't think I did it correctly, so somebody let me know if you download it on my template. But like I said, I'm working on that. I just started my TPT store, and I'm definitely no expert at all, but I'm really just having fun with it and trying to roll with it. But I thought this video would be helpful for anyone who's maybe creating a teaching portfolio or maybe just looking to update it like I did, because it just needed to be updated for interviews that I'm having or hoping to have in the near future. So if you want to see how I updated my teaching portfolio, then keep on watching. Look at the front of the binder. This is the template that I created on TPT, and I just put my name and then I just put teaching portfolio, nice and simple. I didn't want anything fancy. I actually did update the binder itself too, because the one that you needed for college was like 3 or 4 inches. It was huge and it was totally bulky, and I just did not need all of that space. So I went ahead and got a smaller binder, and then I created this template. And then when you open it up, the first thing that I have on here is professional content. Now, I totally understand that everybody's binder or teaching portfolio is going to be completely different, and that's okay. Professional content is definitely something that every teaching portfolio should include, but a lot of the things in here, some of you will have, some of you will not have, and that's totally okay. I just wanted to give you some options of what I have. So the first thing that I have is the professional content here. And I just put these in clear protected strips from Staples, so that way it would just keep it looking nice and new. So first thing that I have is my resume, and I did put this on resume paper that I also got from Staples. And I am not going to share like everything on this, but I just keep my resume as the first thing, and I have a couple copies as well in the clear laminating sheet. This way, if I go on an interview or I just need an extra copy, I have them ready to go in here that I can always hand to them. The second thing that I have is my certificate, so I keep that second. I also have this on nice paper. This thing I am so dang proud of, so I put this right after my resume. Then I have my cover letter, which again has, it's on nice paper, and then I have a couple sheets in here. This was kind of like hard to block out for you guys, but this is just my references. So I have about 4 references. Actually, I think I have like 6 references on here. So I just included the name of the reference, what their job actually is under that, their phone number, and then their email. And then I also have in parentheses with what their job is, I have how I know them as well. Then I have my philosophy of education, and then I have my college transcripts. So then after all of those professional content papers, I have my letters of recommendation. So same kind of template, I just kind of updated the picture here to whatever the section really was. So these are all my letters of recommendation. I just have, I think, 6 of these. A lot of them are college professors or people that I've worked with, my cooperating teacher from when I was student teaching, all of that. So definitely I need to update them to people that I've worked with in the last 2 years, but definitely get as many references as you can when you're in college or when you're student teaching. I highly recommend it because they will call your references and they will talk to them. So get as many as you can of people that you trust. Lesson plan example. So with this, the first thing that I have in this section is the lesson plan that I actually created, which I am putting on my TPT store soon. I had to make a short change with it. I had something that happened with the editing process, but I just keep the blank one in here to kind of show them, like, look, I created this. These are the things that I would include in all my lesson plans. And then this is a example lesson that I created. And then again, this is the old lesson plan from my college, but these are other lessons that I have just created from either student teaching, I created just for fun, that I could do in the future, or some of them go to certain novels. I have like a bunch of them. Some of them are old, some of them are brand new, but I just figured I would put like all the good ones because these are always good too when you go in an interview to put like a little sticky up top. And if there's a really good one that you want to focus on, you can open right up to that sticky and really talk about that lesson right away. Then I have lesson materials in this section. So anything that goes with either the lessons from the previous section or just anything in general that I wanted to keep that I thought was pretty good, I keep in this section. So here I have a couple bingo cards from my students. Actually from this summer, I just put them in here. We did bingo with synonyms. So we would say the synonym and then they would put their chip on whatever the other synonym for that word is. So that was a fun activity that they learned a lot in. And then I have these next couple papers are from PIE activity that I did. So persuade, inform, and entertain. These were different stations around the room, and at each station they had to write a writing piece on, this had to be like an entertaining piece, the other one was an informational piece, and then the other one was a persuasive writing piece. So that got them up and moving at different stations in the room, and then this was the rubric that I created to go with that writing piece. Then I did with my alternative night school kids, I did a debate basics quiz, and then we went through and actually did a debate. They kind of chose what they wanted to do their debate on. Now these are high school students, so you couldn't do this with like younger kids, but abortion, legalization of gay marriage or rights, climate change. So these are all pieces that are very what's the word I'm looking for? Things that could be debated, and everyone has different sides too. So I wanted them to write a couple facts on each one, a couple sentences on just like the topic itself, and then we went and voted, and we actually split the room up in half based on if they were for or against that topic, and then we debated it. So it got them like, they were really into it, and it was actually really fun. This is something also that I did with my night school students, that they created a resume. So I completely created this template that told about what a resume was, so they were able to kind of form it. It has a summary, abilities and talents, education. So this just kind of gave them a nice overview of how to create a resume and work experience, references, all that kind of stuff. So this is also in my TPT store. This was my first product, and this is a free product. It's nothing like super fancy, but it definitely got them thinking about how they would create their own resume. So I do have that as a free download on my TPT store. Next, I have my future career goals. So this kind of says, you know, like what they, schools, what they think that they're going to do in the future. So this could really be used for any like high school or up, depending on, you know, what you're teaching. But this kind of gets them thinking about what they want to do in the future. Now, I am a secondary education major, so I teach older kids. So if you are an elementary school teacher, you're obviously not going to use a lot of these products, but I'm just showing you some of the lesson materials that I have in this section that I created myself. This is a trade school versus college worksheet, and then the rubric that went along with that. And then I do have a personal assessment project outline. So this is when I first started with my alternative school students. I wanted to get to know them better when I first started, so I created this like project for them that was a little bit, it was like a fun project, you know, just tell me about yourself type of project. And then this is a punctuation sheet, which is also in my TPT store that I created. It has 10 sentences, and it's to just punctuate the sentences correctly. So you could really use this in like middle school or up. And then another sheet that I created that is on my TPT store. This is verb tense. Here I have a couple different rubrics that I created. This was with my 11th grade English class. So they had the option of doing a postcard, a Dear Diary, like a diary entry, a storyboard, or they were able to work with somebody and do an interview. So this was a project option that I gave them where they didn't have to necessarily just do the one option. So it kind of gave them that freedom of picking whichever one that they wanted to do. And then this is a research paper, employment ad, rubric. So instead of creating a long research paper, they were able to make like an employment ad based on what their career was that they chose for their research project. And then I just have a couple of Shakespeare writing like terms. It's basically like what the Shakespeare writing is and then what it is today that I created, just to kind of make it a little bit more simple when they are reading, that they can keep this with them. And then a Macbeth KWL chart. I like to put like little funny memes to keep them interested. And then the last thing I have on here is an emoji exit ticket. So this you can give them any day, anytime, to just kind of, they pick how they feel that day and why they pick that based off of the lesson. So after there's lesson materials, I keep parent contact information. So these are any emails that I sent to parents, good and bad. I have both here. I marked out all of the like student and parent names. But I have a ton of emails here just on, you know, good and bad emails that I sent to parents. And then I have student work. I think it's really important to show the student work. It shows their abilities and how well they learned what you taught them. And then the first thing I have in here is actually, these are just like positive things that I received from students. So this is, it says, "You are my favorite sub, and you are also funny and pretty. Have a great summer. See you next year." And I actually don't know who this is from. We do this thing at the middle school called Secret Pop, and you can send it to anybody. And I just thought it was so cute and such a nice surprise. Even though my name is spelled so wrong, I think it is just so adorable. So these are just a couple like letters and stuff that I got from students that, you know, they're just like happy things. So I wanted to show positive things like that. And then this is a storyboard that one of my students created based on Of Mice and Men. And then this is that soundtrack rubric. I have a couple of these. This is from the things they carried. This was a project that they did and a paper that they wrote on it. So I just kept that to kind of show more student work. And then these are my evaluations from student teaching. So, I mean, I'm not going to go like in depth here. If you have student taught, then you'll know. You know, everyone gets these evaluations. It's basically like your student teaching grade. So I just kept all of those in there. And then the last thing I have, the last section, is miscellaneous. So I really just have whatever in here that I think, you know, I want to show them. I actually do have more pictures in here, but I'm looking for them. So in this picture, I just have a picture with a student that I did at summer school 2 years ago. And then this is a faculty picture from at the end of the year. So I do have more pictures that I want to put on here, but for now, that will do. And this is something that I created, which this was for when I was student teaching, and my 11th graders loved this. So I cut up these smiley faces, put this by the door, and I was shocked at how many students loved this, and they would literally rip off a smile and take it with them, and it really put a smile on some of their faces, a lot, like so much more than I thought they would, and they just thought it was like the cutest thing. So I just like to keep these at the door just as like a fun little thing for them. And that's actually all I have in this section. I will have more eventually, but you know, I just wanted to put like what I thought was really important. So I have my miscellaneous section, parent contact, and all that kind of stuff. My biggest tip for anyone starting or updating a teaching portfolio is make sure you just have a ton of lesson plans and lesson materials that go with those plans, and really put a little sticky on them so that way when you go to an interview, you can really just flip to it really easily. They like to see the actual hard copy in front of them, so keep that there. Apologize for my broken nail that you just saw through that whole entire video. Hopefully that was helpful for anyone looking to, update their portfolio or even just create theirs. Hopefully it gave you a little bit of motivation to maybe do that. So let me know in the comments below if it was helpful. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful as well. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with my wonderful life. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.